How many businesses are you in? Today on the Daily-ish Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Daily-ish Show, a show not just for rental housing providers, rental operators, whatever you want to call yourself, but also for anybody who might be interested in getting into the buy and hold game, getting into landlording, getting into rental property investing, but also anybody who may be self-employed and is looking for more white space on your calendar. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Daily-ish Show. My name is Mark Dolfini, your host and your coach. So today we're going to be talking about how many businesses are you in? And this is a question that I get whenever I say that. I have people that go, "What do you mean?" And I'm going to tell you. So when I was this was back in maybe 2006 or so, and I was doing all sorts of wheeling and dealing for new properties that were coming on board. And I was thinking, man, I'm a real estate investor. That's really what I was, more than anything else. And that's how I was buy and hold investor. And that's the way I introduced myself: buy and hold investor, landlord, whatever it was that people identified with. So it was interesting because at the time, this is probably even earlier than that. I'm thinking maybe 2004, and I'm roughly 30. I'm 35 years old. I've got the world by the tail, basically. I'm out there doing the hustle, right? I'm busy. I've got, I'm buying properties. I was flipping some properties. I was renting a lot of properties. I think probably by that point I had maybe 60 or so different properties. And I was also day trading, doing some day trading on the side. And I was busy. I had a lot going on. So it was interesting because when I would have these conversations with individuals and they would ask me, what do you do? And I would say I was a, rental property, they would identify me as a property manager, but that wasn't really true. I wasn't a property manager at the time, although I was managing all of my own stuff. But I was a landlord. I was a rental housing provider. That's what I did. And that's how I identified myself. But the interesting thing is that's not really the only business that I was in, because what I didn't recognize, and I didn't come to recognize until later on, is that the operational functions of all the different things that I had going on were very different. Now, if you've listened to the show for a little while, you understand that now I have the VIP method, right, which is the Vision Infrastructure Process method, which I wrote about in the Time Wealthy Investor 2.0. But if I break that down, the vision piece really doesn't have much to do with your business. The vision piece really doesn't have much to do with how you generate income. It has everything to do with life output. But the infrastructure and process piece, those two functions break down into four basic functions of every business. Now, this part is not in the Time Wealthy Investor 2.0. The four basic functions of every business, and if you watch the show for a while, you know where I'm going with this. It's marketing or lead gen, right? You got to let the world know that you're in business, right? The marketing or lead gen piece. You've got to have a sales piece, which is closing the sale, whether that's a setter or closer or something that basically takes that from a lead to a sale. The next piece is obviously the operational function, right? So you've got the lead gen, the sales, the operational function, and then that's basically what the business does. That's if you're a roofer, you install roofs. If you're a rental housing provider, you rent houses, right? Whatever that is, right? So that's the operational function. And then the last piece, which is what everybody forgets, is the accounting piece. You've got to have an accounting function, because if you don't have accounting, you don't have a business. So if you're going to generally get stuck in a place in the operation of a business, you get stuck in the operation. That's almost always where you get stuck, is the operation. If you're going to neglect anything, it's almost always the accounting. The accounting is almost always the last thing that gets intentionally handled. And that's, generally what happens. And again, it's like, well, I've got more money in my bank account this month than last month. Must be doing okay. Well, that's not accounting. That is flying by the seat of your pants. Guilty. So what I would say to you is, let's just keep this in the realm of real estate just for a second. So if you're out there buying rental properties and you're also managing rental properties, you're also managing your portfolio, I would argue that you have two separate businesses. Now, follow me here for just a second. Based on the definition of what I just told you, every business has to have those core functions, right? So you have to have a marketing and lead gen piece, you have to have a sales piece, you have to have an operational function, and then of course the accounting. So out of those four pieces, right, the conversation that you're having with someone that you're trying to buy a property from is a different conversation than someone you are renting a property to. So think about that for a second. So you've got completely different lead generation that happens with someone that you're trying to buy a property from. Say you're trying to you're trying to negotiate a deal, for a rental property, and eventually close that deal. Those are just different functions than as if you're trying to rent a property to somebody and then close them on that. So, although similar and certainly related, they are different functions, and therefore they're different businesses because the operational function is different, the infrastructure is going to be different, the processes are going to be different. It's just different. So, when you have a property management business, whether you're managing properties for yourself or others or whatever, but when you have a property management business for yourself and you're still buying properties, I would argue that you have two separate businesses. Related, yes, of course, but they are separate businesses. And when you start recognizing that they're separate businesses, that's when you start recognizing how much extra time and bandwidth you're going to need to shift gears and say, okay, well, which hat am I wearing now? Which is also why I like to focus most of my time on my inner circle coaching and mastermind, because that's really where not only is my passion, but I know it's where I'm great. I am a great coach and a great teacher. And I'm not saying that to be arrogant. I'm saying it because I'm owning it. Because trust me, there are plenty of things I'm terrible at. And most of those things are what precedes and follows the coaching and teaching. I'm a terrible administrator. I'm not great with paperwork. I'm not great with email. I don't like it. It sucks the life out of me when I have to do it. But I do it on occasion. That's why I have a chief of staff that checks my emails for me and reports to me what needs to be done. If there's any replies that need to be done, I'll tell her what to reply, and then she goes ahead and takes care of that for me. Now, that might sound like super self-important, but it's recognizing where I'm great and trying to stay focused in that area as much as possible, and recognizing where I'm weak and not trying to fix all the chinks in my armor. So that's where I feel, and again, I oversee 7 different businesses at the time, as of right now. So, that may wax or wane. And right now I am buying some properties. So I've got that function up and running. But am I looking to buy more? Not really. I mean, some of the properties have kind of fallen in my lap. But when it comes to the operational function of making sure that I'm following through on everything, I'm making sure that I'm putting the structure of the deal together right, that's different bandwidth that I have to use rather than the conversations that I might be using if I was having a conversation with a resident, for example. So that's why you have to protect your time. You have to recognize that it's going to take a different amount of energy, different infrastructure, different processes for all these different business functions that you may have. And once I started doing that for myself, things got so much more pleasant in my life, so much easier. And my life, I didn't feel like I was running all around like a crazy person all day. And all of a sudden I started feeling more fulfilled in the work that I was doing because I was doing more of the things that I loved and less of the things that I didn't love. So how many businesses are you in? It's a good question for you to ask yourself. So if you are interested and you are looking for a coach, or you just want to have a conversation, I'd love to have a conversation with you. Just go to landlordcoach.com/connect, landlordcoach.com/connect. And I would love to have a conversation with you. It is not a sales call. I promise you that, because I hate being sold, and I know what that's like, feeling like you're getting a free steak dinner and you have to sign over the next 6 hours of your life to a timeshare salesman. I am not about that. So if you are interested in having a conversation, please let me know. Reach out at landlordcoach.com/connect. And that's all I have for today, folks. Please be sure to place a value on your free time, because if you don't, someone else will. But most important, there is no amount of money that will make time irrelevant. Have a great day. See you guys next time.